If you walk into a typical Japanese home, you will immediately notice something strange. So today I will be introducing some of these strange things found in Japanese homes, one by one from real life. Right, so first let's start with one of the strangest items you will find in Japanese home, a shoe dryer. But during Japan's rainy season, it can rain for days and your shoes simply, don't dry. And when leather shoes and sneakers stay damp, bacteria start to grow, which leads to that unpleasant smell. That is why many households have this. You insert nozzles into your shoes and it blows warm air inside, drying them completely overnight. Well, to be honest, I hardly ever use it as an adult. But when I was a kid, I played outside all the time, so my shoes were always soaked. I definitely remember using this a lot back then, only to get them wet again the next day though. And the funny thing is, in Japan, it's not just shoes. The humidity affects your bedding too. At first glance, this looks like a tiny vacuum cleaner, but it's actually a futon dryer. Well, many people in Japan still sleep on futons, and because the air is so humid, especially in summer and during the rainy season, futons can stay damp and even grow mold. So this machine blows warm air into the bedding throughout the house, drying it indoors, making it fluffy again and helping reduce dust mites. Well, traditionally people dry futons outside in the sun, but this lets you do it anytime, no matter the weather. And in winter, some people also use it to pre-warm the futon, like me, so the bed feels warm the moment you get in. When you walk into a Japanese home for the first time, the toilet can be surprisingly intimidating. That's because it often looks like a small control panel filled with buttons. Well, Japanese toilets comes with features like warm water washing and heated seat, deodorizing, and even a drying function. Basically, more features than most people expect from a toilet. Well, this comes from Japan's strong focus on cleanness and comfort. Well, people want to stay clean and no one wants to sit on an icy toilet seat in winter. So toilets have kept evolving. Well, to be honest, most people don't use everything function, but in Japan, having a high-tech toilet is completely normal. In older Japanese buildings, you might still come across a traditional squat toilet. The bowl is built into the floor and you use it squatting over it. For many foreigners, the first reaction is usually, how do you use this? There were a few reasons this toilet became widespread, but the biggest one was hygiene. Because your body never touches the toilet, it was considered cleaner. Personally, I think this type of toilet is the best because it's easy to clean since you spray water over the toilet and then use a brush to clean it. However, once you get used to a high-tech toilet, it's hard to go back. Right, so far we've seen plenty of strange things, but Japanese bathrooms are on another level. They come with a bunch of features that look weird at first, but are completely normal here in Japan. One feature that surprises many foreigners is the bath reheating button, called oitaki. It's a bath water cools down by pressing one button and warm it again. In Japan, it's common for family members to take turns using the same bath water to keep it warm for everyone. This reheating function became necessary. It also saves water because you don't need to drain and refill the tap. Modern bathtubs can add more water automatically and heat it to the exact temperature you want. The announcement telling you that the bath is ready is another very Japanese detail. In almost every Japanese bathroom, you will find a small stall and bucket. Japan has the custom of washing your entire body before entering the bathtub. People sit on the stall while they wash and use the bucket to pour warm water over themselves. But this practice comes from traditional public bath culture, where sitting down reduces splashing and keeps the area tidy. One shower head that has become especially popular in Japan recently is Miraburu. It looks like a regular shower head, but it produces ultrafine bubbles that help clean the skin more effectively. It became popular because it satisfies both beauty and practicality. While many people use the fine mist mode for face washing, when you actually apply water like this, it does hurt a little, but it also feels like it's removing dirt from deep within your pores. Well, this type of beauty-focused shower head is a uniquely Japanese trend. The next things you begin to notice in a Japanese home are the small, everyday items that people rarely talk about, but almost everyone has. Alright, so the next item is this solid wooden board known as a shogi board. Shogi is often described as the Japanese version of chess. Today, people can play online with anyone, so it's becoming less common to see a physical board like this at home. And I sometimes play it myself because my grandfather used this board to teach me the rules when I was young. Simply having the object in the house can spark a childhood curiosity. It reminds me that traditional games play an important role in keeping cultural practices alive. The next item looks like unusual. It is a part of a sofa, but a standalone wooden armrest called a kyosoku in Japanese. You may still find it in some traditional homes or temples in Japan. The kyosoku comes from Japan's floor-based lifestyle, where people often sit in like seiza or crossed leg for a long period, which can tire the back and shoulders. Resting an arm on the kyosoku helps reduce that strain. While it's especially useful when playing shogi, which can involve sitting for a long time, but professional shogi matches also use the kyosoku. While although uncommon in modern homes, it's a very Japanese piece of furniture born from living on the floor. Well, another traditional game you might find in a Japanese home is Mahjong, originating from China. Well, Mahjong became extremely popular in Japan after World War II, and it was common activity among co-workers, relatives, and friends who gathered to play for hours. Well, because of this, many households end up keeping a set of Mahjong tiles. It became one of the symbols of Japan's entertainment culture in the past decades. Today, within a wide range of board games available, Mahjong sets have become less common, honestly. And also, rule can be difficult at first, but once you learn how to play it, it becomes incredibly fun with friends. So if you have a chance, I recommend trying it. Another traditional game you might find in a Japanese home is hanafuda, a set of small, thick cards decorated with seasonal flowers and nature motifs. Unlike standard playing cards, hanafuda has a unique design and gameplay style that reflects Japanese aesthetics. As saying for Mahjong, many families used to play hanafuda during gatherings or holidays, especially older generation. The game requires matching cards based on seasonal themes, and its rules can be strategic despite the small number of cards. Although it's less common today, seeing a hanafuda deck in home often brings back memories of family gatherings and traditional, pastime. It's one more example of how Japanese games have been shaped by culture, like seasons and visual symbolism. One of the most unique things you will find in the Japanese home is how many little things are designed to help you feel the seasons. Spring is just one easy example. Even while it still feels like winter, once spring is on the horizon, sakura-flavored sweets gradually start popping up everywhere. For example, this sakura warabi mochi is one of my favorite Japanese sweets. And just by looking at it or tasting it, you can instantly feel cherry blossom season. That feeling of Japan's seasonal special and even a little nostalgic right at home is exactly what today's sponsor, Sakurako, is all about. This spring, Sakurako invites you to enjoy Hanami, Japan's cherry blossom viewing tradition with the Sakura in Bloom box. One item I was personally so happy to see was Sakura Hoten. It brought back childhood memories for me, and what I love is that it's the kind of traditional sweet you don't usually just grab at a convenience store. It pairs perfectly with the Sakura Bloom tea in this box. Of course, it's not just sweets and tea either. Each month you also get an exclusive homeware item. This time it's the Sakura Kozara plate, which is perfect for serving wagashi Japanese snacks. Each box also comes with a culture booklet with fun articles, snack descriptions, and allergen information. So if you want to bring a little Sakura in bloom into your home, check out the links below and use my discount code JAPANWITHNOW to get $5 off your first box. Big thanks again Sakurako for bringing the Sakura season into my home and for sponsoring this video. This is actually not usual maybe, but another surprise thing you might find in a Japanese home is shinai. a bamboo sword used in kendo. It's mainly a sports item, but some families keep one at home as a simple self-defense tool. Well, Japan is very safe, but just in case, having something easy to grab nearby can feel reassuring, maybe. Another thing you might find in a Japanese home is a kairanban, a clipboard or folder that gets passed from house to house. It's used to share local information like garbage rules, like events or emergency notices. Even the age of smartphone, some neighborhoods, especially in the countryside, still rely on this very analog system, which is surprisingly old-fashioned. Another item commonly seen in Japanese homes is the hanko. It looks like a small wooden or plastic cylinder, but it's served as a stamp carved with your name, basically family name. For a long time in Japan, instead of signing document, people press their hanko to confirm their identity. While older digital signatures are becoming more common today, most households still keep at least one hanko, I believe. It remains a familiar part of daily life and a symbol of long-standing culture practice. Some Japanese homes also kept at least one kimono tucked away in a closet. But kimonos aren't everyday clothing anymore, but they are still worn for special occasions like weddings, ceremonies, or festivals. Because of that, many families keep one even if they rarely wear it. It's interesting how something so formal and historical still quietly exists inside an ordinary home. Alright, so one unusual item you often find in the Japanese homes is like cockroach trap, known as gokiburi hoi hoi. It looks like a small cardboard house with a sticky sheet inside. As the name suggests, it lures cockroach inside and traps them. The trap uses bite to attract the insect and adhesive to keep them from escaping. It has almost no smell and requires no setup. You simply place it on the floor. It's so common that it feels like almost every household in Japan has used it at some point. The next thing you begin to notice in a Japanese home is the way rooms are shaped and divided. The layout and materials follow a completely different logic from many Western homes, and these design choices come from Japan's climate, lifestyle, and history. When you enter the Japanese home, one of the first things you may notice is the number of sliding doors. The design is not just aesthetic, it's closely connected to Japan's traditional lifestyle and architectural history. While Japanese homes have always had limited space, and sliding doors allow room to open without requiring extra floor space for the door to swing. That is why Japan has used sliding doors so much, such as Fuma and Shoji for centuries, and the modern sliding door continues that tradition. It's a simple but clever solution that fits Japan's housing environment. Alright, so the next one is Shoji, also popular, and the paper-covered sliding doors commonly found in Japanese homes. They allow natural light to enter while keeping the interior private. This design reflects Japan's presence for soft light and subtle boundaries within the home. Another special type is Yukimi Shoji, which has a transparent section near the bottom. This allows you to see the outside while sitting on the floor. As a child, I thought shoji were cold, fragile, and inconvenient, but as an adult, I find them beautiful, but especially when watching snowy quietly accumulate outside. Fusuma are sliding panels covered with paper or fabric, commonly used to divide rooms in traditional Japanese homes. Unlike doors fixed to a frame, Fusuma can be removed entirely, allowing you to change the size of the room depending on the occasion. For example, two small rooms can become one large space simply by taking the panels out. While this flexible design reflects the Japanese approach to making the most of a limited space and adapting the room to different needs. For these reasons, shoji screens are used at windows and Fusuma sliding doors are used to separate rooms. A common feature of Japanese homes is a amado, or storm shelter. It is a sliding panel installed outside the window and it closed at night or during storms. But Japan experiences many typhoons, so the amado helps protect windows from obviously strong winds. When closed, it prevents rain from entering and provides additional security. It also helps with noise reduction and insulation, especially during winter. But oshire are deep storage closets found in many Japanese homes. They resemble a Western closet but are much deeper and divided into upper and lower sections. But traditionally, they were designed to store futons, which is why the compartments are large enough to hold bedding. They offer significant storage space and can hold seasonal clothing, suitcase, like toys, or almost anything. When I was a child, I used to build secret forts inside the oshire. Well, in Japan, there is even very popular anime character who literally sleeps inside oshire. Do you know who it is? Some Japanese homes have a hidden compartment in the floor, often found in kitchens or hallways. Lifting the panel reveals an underground storage space. Because the temperature under the floor stays relatively stable, it is suitable for storing items such as rice, water, and emergency supplies for disasters. This space in the house is no longer in use because it was too humid to be usable. Ranma are decorative wooden panels found in older Japanese homes, placed between the top of door frame and the ceiling. They often feature detailed carvings. But originally, they were designed to let air and light pass through while dividing rooms. But Japanese houses were not very airtight, so ranma helped circulate air throughout the home and reduce humidity. Though less common today, ranma remains a symbol of traditional Japanese beauty found in Japanese architecture. One item you will almost always find in a Japanese home is the butsudan. It may look like a small wooden cabinet, but it is an important place for, honoring one's ancestors. Inside the butsudan, families place memorial tablets, photos of their ancestors, incense, and flowers, and they sit in front of it to pray. It is similar to having a small temple inside the home. During occasions like obon or anniversaries of family members passing, relatives gather around the butsudan to pray together. It becomes a moment to feel the connection within the family. My family home is a temple, yet we still have a butsudan inside, which is a little weird. But outside of Japan, it's rare to see something like this, so the butsudan might be considered a uniquely Japanese space for prayer within the home. Another type of prayer space found in some Japanese homes is the kamidana. It's a special wooden shelf placed high on the wall where paper amulets from the shrine are displayed. If the butsudan is for honoring ancestors, the kamidana is for welcoming the protective god of the household. For generations, Japanese families have placed these shelves in their homes to pray for safety, good health, or success in businesses. When I was young, I wondered why it was always placed so high. Later, I learned that it's set above eye level so that people don't look down on the gods. After understanding how Japanese homes are divided and designed, there is one more thing that becomes especially noticeable during this time of year. Winter brings out completely different set of items that you rarely see in other countries. In older Japanese homes, you may find an irori, and sunken hearth built into the floor. It was traditionally used for cooking and heating the room and gathering around. The irori was not just a functional part of the house, it served as a communal space where families and neighbors talked and shared meals. In this way, it acted like the living room of the home. The smoke from the irori also had the effect of drying and preserving the wooden beams of the house, while helping protect the structure in Japan's humid climate. A place meant for fire also played a role in preserving the home, which is a uniquely Japanese idea. It's a lot of work to maintain, but it's an important place where you can feel the history. The next item is the kotatsu, a symbol of winter in Japan, and you probably know it. At first glance, it looks like a row table, but underneath it's a built-in heater covered by a thick blanket that traps the warmth. You can say that it's a modern irori. While Japanese homes can get quite cold in winter and most do not have central heating, well, because of this, the idea of warming only the spot where you are sitting or standing becoming common. A kotatsu uses very little electricity but warms your body from the core, making it an extremely efficient heater. Once you put your legs inside, it becomes almost impossible to leave. But recently, some people even place a heater hose from space heater into the kotatsu to warm both the table and the whole room. It's uniquely Japanese way of staying warm during winter. Another winter essential in Japanese homes is the hot carpet. It looks like a thin rag, but it contains heating wires inside, so the entire floor area becomes warm when you lay it down. But because Japanese homes are not very airtight as I explained, heating the whole house efficiently is difficult. As a result, many heating solutions focus on warming only the area that the body touches. The hot carpet is a perfect example, while providing gentle warmth exactly where you sit. When combined with the kotatsu, the result is ultimate winter comfort. In my home, we always had hot carpet in winter, and I would lie down on it as soon as I go back from school. The problem was that I often fell asleep right away. In lunar areas of Japan, a common winter heater is the kerosene foam heater. Instead of electricity, it burned kerosene to produce strong, instant warmth that quickly heats the room. But because Japanese homes can be difficult to heat with an air conditioner alone, these heaters are still used in cold regions. However, they require regular refueling. You have to carry the kerosene tank outside, fill it up, and bring it back, which can be a bit of a hassle. Although uncommon in many countries, kerosene heaters remain a practical solution in older or colder Japanese homes. So these were some of the weird and strange things you can find in a Japanese home. But I'm curious which one surprised you the most. Let me know in the comments below. I always enjoy reading your thoughts and experiences. And while you're waiting and if you want to learn even more, everyday life in Japan, make sure to check out the next video. I leave it right here so you can continue exploring. Alright, so thanks for watching and I will see you in the next one. See you. Bye.